Henry. Goodbye, Aunt Em. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Toto.
Dorothy watched the wagon clatter down the dusty road that wound through the parched brown fields of their farm. Her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry were off to the city for a few days to take care of Aunt Em's cousin Millie, who had been taken sick. Dorothy was to stay with their neighbors, the Barnwells. She turned and walked back inside the small gray house from which the heat of the summer sun had peeled the paint, just as it had baked and cracked the Kansas prairie in which the house stood. The land was poor, and in struggling to make the crops grow, Uncle Henry and Aunt Em had grown as drab as their surroundings. They never laughed. They hardly ever smiled. As Dorothy packed her few clothes, her thoughts turned to the wonderful land of Oz, as they often did. She wished that she could be there again and have her aunt and uncle with her. Oh, how they would love that beautiful place. But she never talked about Oz anymore. Her aunt and uncle forbade it. They didn't believe there was a land of Oz. They thought that she was imagining the whole story, of being carried there by a cyclone and destroying the wicked witches and meeting a scarecrow and a tin woodman and a cowardly lion and going to the Emerald City to find the great Wizard of Oz, who had given the scarecrow a brain and the woodman a heart and the lion courage. And mostly, they didn't believe that she had flown back to Kansas on a pair of magic silver slippers with the wizard himself.
But it's true, Aunt Em. It's true, Uncle Henry. He went back to his old job as a magician in the circus, and I came home.
But they simply shook their heads and wouldn't believe her. And since she couldn't talk to them about it, she thought of Oz all the time.
Somewhere is Oz, magic land, far away beyond mountain and sea. Oz full of laughter, Oz full of fun, Oz where I so wish to be. You needn't live there to love it. I know what I say is true. Once you have gone to that land, it lives on within you. Oz, magic land far away, beyond mountain and sea.
Hello there. Anybody home?
Just a minute. Hello.
What?
Oh! I don't believe it. The wizard. You're the Wizard of Oz himself.
Well, no, Dorothy, not anymore, I'm afraid. Just a plain old magician out of a job.
But what happened to the circus?
Well, they got a younger man with newer tricks. People didn't want to see me going up in my balloon anymore. They didn't think it was so exciting.
Oh, you poor man. I wish there was something I could do.
There is. In fact, I've been flying my balloon all over Kansas looking for you. Can I leave the balloon tied to your front gate, Dorothy?
Oh, yes, of course. But tell me,
I want to go back to Oz. I want to be important. I want to be, well, the Wizard of Oz again. You and I are the only ones who have ever been there, Dorothy. Oh, excuse me, Toto. You and I and Toto, I mean. I'll have a much better chance of finding it if you'd come with me. Could you?
Oh, yes. No, I can't. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry would worry. They worry, you know.
Well, perhaps if I talk to them.
But they're away, and the Barnwells don't know I'm coming. And I'll be back soon, and you need me. And I'll go.
Good.
Dorothy packed a picnic lunch to take with them on the balloon trip. Chicken sandwiches on homemade bread, a big jar of Aunt Em's pickles, which had won blue ribbons at the county fair for the last 3 years in a row, some cookies, and a bone for Toto. They got into the basket of the balloon and untied it from the gate. The balloon rose rapidly and soon was high in the sky.
Steer it that way, Wizard.
Well, I was going to steer it this way.
Well, we better decide. We can't go every which way.
True, very true.
It's north or it's south, or it's east or it's west.
Now isn't that clever of us to have guessed?
We must pick one out, or we'll be here all day.
We can't get to Oz going every which way.
Oz cannot be found on a map or a chart.
We know where we are, which is good for a start.
It's where we go next, that's not easy to say.
We can't get to Oz going every which way.
Look at Toto. He's pointing that way.
Well, that settles it. We'll go his way. Dogs have a marvelous sense of direction.
The winds were strong and the balloon moved swiftly. Toto pointed this way. Then, for reasons that only dogs understand, he pointed that way. Whichever way he pointed, the wizard steered the balloon. After what didn't seem very long at all...
Look down. We're over the great desert that surrounds the land of Oz. You did it, Toto. You did it.
Fine dog, Toto. Dorothy, give him half of my chicken sandwich.
Almost before they knew it, the balloon floated down gently and landed right in the middle of the Emerald City, where a large crowd had gathered.
Hello, my friends. I'm back. The great and powerful Wizard of Oz has returned.
They're not paying any attention. They don't even see us. They're all looking the other way.
Certainly they see us. Oh, you over there, my good man. Would you kindly step over here for a moment? This is your wizard speaking.
Oh, hello, Wizard.
Huh?
How have you been? Would you mind getting out of the way? I can't see the parade.
But isn't the parade for me?
For you? Why would it be for you? The parade is for the formerly cowardly lion, who is now the bravest creature in the land and has just been made Commander-in-Chief of the Army of Oz. Hooray! Hooray for the formerly cowardly lion!
But what about the wizard?
What about him? Look, little girl,
I'm Dorothy.
Look, Dorothy, we used to have wicked witches in Oz.
I know. I destroyed them.
Oh, you're that Dorothy. Well, we're grateful. But you didn't do your friend here any favors. When we had wicked witches, we needed a wizard to take care of us. Now that we don't have him, we can take care of ourselves. Who needs a wizard? Hooray! Hooray for the formerly cowardly lion! Hooray for the formerly cowardly lion! Hooray!
They don't seem to want their old wizard anymore.
Before Dorothy could reply, a large float decorated with flags and cannons went past. On it, wearing a chest full of medals and a most unhappy expression, was their good friend, the lion. He saw them in the crowd and leaped off the float.
Dorothy! Wizard! Toto!
They all hugged each other, and the wizard told the lion about the trip back to Oz in his balloon.
my, it's nice to see you all brave and everything, Lion.
It's nice for me, too. I'm certainly not the lion I used to be.
I'm a formerly cowardly lion. That is I always used to be crying, 'cause everything made me cry. I'd weep and wail and use my tail to wipe the tears away. And you can bet that it got wet at the end of an average day. I'm a formerly cowardly lion, unafraid. I once was scared of the dark, in fact, I even was scared of shade. Throughout the years, a stream of tears kept flowing from my eyes. Scaredy cat, yes, I was that in the large economy size. When I lived in the forest and went outdoors to play, the little mice were not too nice, 'cause they'd chase me away. I'm a formerly cowardly lion. You can see there simply is no denying that there's been a change in me. I once got E in bravery, but now I get A+. I'm brave, it's true, and fearless too, and most courageous.
Well, that's wonderful. And the very best of luck in your new job. Congratulations.
Oh, don't congratulate me, Dorothy. The people chose me head of the army because I'm the bravest creature in the land. But I hate fighting as much as ever, and I hate this job.
But you can't have an army without it fighting another army sooner or later.
Unless you're a wizard. Unless you're a... unless you're a wizard. Say, wizard, guess what? I just now quit. Have an army, it's all yours.
That's very kind of you, Lion, but...
The wizard turned away, and Dorothy whispered to the lion how the people didn't want the wizard anymore.
Well, I want him. Let's talk to the Scarecrow. He's the smartest person in Oz. As a matter of fact, they made him president of the university. He'll know what to do.
The Scarecrow was even happier to see them than the lion had been.
This is indubitably the most exhilarating and rejuvenating reassociation of amicable and convivial acquaintances which it has ever been my prerogative to encounter. Gee, I'm glad to see you.
And look at you, president of the University of Oz. Imagine.
Pity me, Dorothy. I was better off when I didn't have a brain. See all these application forms? 5,000 Winkies want to go to school here next year, and 3,000 Munchkins, to say nothing of the Emerald City High School graduates, and the U of O just isn't big enough. I'll have to turn down more than half of them. I feel like such a meanie.
I'm rather intellectual, but I've been ineffectual. I say this most emphatically in solving mathematically this problem insurmountable for which I am accountable. It's proving unassailable. There is no room available for those who are admittable. They just all aren't fittable. So where does that leave me? Feeling like a rodent, R-A-T. I'm rather intellectual, but I've been ineffectual. I say this most emphatically in solving mathematically this problem insurmountable for which I am accountable. It's proving unassailable. There is no room available for those who are admittable. They just all are unfittable. So where does that leave me? Feeling like a rodent. R-A-T.
When I was working in the cornfield, I used to let all the crows in. I'd like to be back there again and let someone else figure out a way to let all the boys and girls into the U of O.
You know something? It's a job for a wizard.
Why didn't I think of that? Wizard, I beg you to accept this prestigious pedagogical presidential position.
Well, here's what we used to do at the circus whenever we had too big a crowd to get 'em all in the tent. Oh, no, wait a minute. Shucks, I forgot. I'm sorry, Scarecrow, I can't.
Dorothy and the lion took the Scarecrow off in a corner of his big office and explained the problem.
I think that's just crummy.
What do you suggest we do?
Let's talk to the Tin Woodman. After the wizard gave him a heart, everybody began to tell the Tin Woodman their troubles. He gave him such good advice, they insisted he write a daily advice column for the Emerald City Herald. We need some very good advice. Let's go see him.
They found the Tin Woodman in the noisy newspaper office where the heartwarming greeting of old friends was repeated.
Oh, this is one of the happiest days I've had in a long time. In fact, to tell you the truth, it's the only one. Troubles, troubles. All I hear is troubles. Listen to this letter. Dear Tin Woodman, I am a 10-year-old munchkin. My mother is too busy. My father is too busy. They won't let me have a dog or a cat. I have no brothers or sisters. I'm so lonesome. What should I do? Signed, the lonesomest little munchkin in Munchkinland. Friends, you see, my trouble is trouble.
My trouble is trouble, that's all I hear. To everyone's trouble, I lend an ear. They listen to the good advice that I disperse. Then they feel better, but I feel worse. The trouble, trouble, trouble that I've been told is very, very catching, just like a cold. My trouble is trouble, I can't decline to listen to troubles and make them mine. I give advice to people they appreciate. Then I feel awful and they feel great. The trouble, trouble, trouble that I've been told is very, very catching, just like a cold. Trouble, 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 my trouble is trouble.
Wizard, to tell you the truth, the heart you gave me is just about to break. This job is too much for me.
I'll tell you something. It's a job for a wizard.
What marvelous advice. Wizard, the job is yours.